Let's talk a little bit about the resume and LinkedIn profile. I know a lot of you obsess over it and are freaked out about it, and all you do is hear advice, what to do about the resume, what to do about LinkedIn, conflicting advice, things that drive you crazy, things that make you anxious. I'm going to make it easy for you. Super easy. We're not going to even spend a long time on this. It'll be really short. So you don't have to worry. I think people purposely, with probably the best of intentions, drive you nuts about what you should and shouldn't do. What you should and shouldn't do. So let's take the resume. It's really simple. You want to think of it as a marketing document, an advertisement for yourself. You also want to be a relatively good writer that could articulate who you are, what you do, your achievements, your accomplishments, and then how that's going to help the company. So what I mean by that is, when you do the resume, first off, recruiters, HR, talent acquisition, managers, skim through it. They'll spend, no exaggeration, 10, 15, 20 seconds on it. Because what they do first, this is from being a recruiter for 25 years, is that they're going to look at it. You want to see what they're doing currently. Because the key is, particularly in this market, companies want to have someone plug and play. They want to hire somebody who could get in the seat, day one, do the job. So you have the job description here, and then you have the resume here, and basically they want your resume to match whatever is on the job description. If they're asking for 12 things, they want you to have 13, 14, 15 of those 12 things. If you think you have 3, but you want to say, I'm so awesome, I'm so great, I could do it, not in this world right now. It's not going to cut it. They want to find someone who does exactly what they want. Because they're thinking there's so many people who are out of work, so many people looking for a job, that why settle? Let's just wait. Let's wait and find the person who has it. Now, I'm generalizing because there's some hot areas where it might be different, but I'm just taking, I think it's easy to kind of give a sweeping generation that covers most people. And the ones who are on the higher end of the spectrum where they're in a hot area, well, that's it's a little different. So they're going to spend only like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. All right, what does Jack do in his current job? Let me look at his, the bullet points. Do they match? The job description? Oh, check. Then they look at the second job that you had before. Do they match? Okay, great. Then they'll maybe scale down to see where you went to college and what you did. And I know that college is unfair. It's still in the environment where they want degrees. I don't agree with that, by the way, but you got to play the game the way the game is played. It sucks, but you got to. This is what it is. So they got to look and see, where you went to school. That's kind of the heart of it. Then if they really like you, as the conversation is going, as the interviews progress, they're going to take a deeper dive. But to get their attention, you really need to have it. So what you want to do, and then you don't need just one resume. I would suggest you have a lot of resumes. Now, it doesn't mean you have to completely do them all from scratch. You can have your core resume, but then when you apply to certain jobs that ask for very specialized skill sets, you want to tailor it. You want to incorporate those different things that they're asking for. Because if you send in one generic and the job description asks for several specific talent, skills, background, criteria, accreditations, and you don't have it, they'll just move on. So it's worth your while to spend time, even to sending out less resumes, but more focused resumes that match it. Now, I'm not saying you make stuff up or you say you do things you don't do. I'm saying that if you do it, if you do have that background, if you do have that experience, then yeah, put it in there. Make sure it's in there and and then you can always switch the bullet points around. So if you're applying to a job that's looking for point A, put that at the front. If you're looking for another job that A is not so important, you can put it down. The key is you have to start with the resume. This is what people don't say. Start with the resume. Don't worry about the font. Don't worry about the 1-page, 2-page. Although you don't want to have it War and Peace. You don't want to have a whole novel. You want to have 1 or 2 pages. Because when people get it now, they look on their phone, they look on their computer. The pages aren't as material as when you used to go in person and hand it over to somebody. Don't worry about all that stuff. You worry about this. Here's a job that I'm applying for. Do I have the skills, the background, the education, the achievements that the job is asking for? And if so, you want to make sure you hit on all those points. You want to make sure when they see the resume, they're going to say, oh, all right, great. We're asking for all these ingredients, and this person has it all. Okay. If you don't, it's just too easy to get passed over. Now, of course, you want to make sure the fonts look fine, the grammar looks fine, it's legible, it flows. But that, I'm presuming you're all intelligent people doing this, and you can always reach out to resume writers and others to help you kind of tweak if you want to spend a few bucks to get it done better. Of course, sure. But the key is this, the most important thing you got to keep in mind, you are marketing yourself, you're selling yourself. You want to get their attention, you want to grab them by the collar and say, look at my resume, it's perfect for this job. And the only way to do it is to really, you're selling yourself. Think about it, it's a commercial. It's an advertisement. They have 10, 20 seconds, right? It's like a TV commercial. You have to show why that car is so fantastic that you're going to just get off your couch and buy that car tomorrow. Why McDonald's is so cool. And your kids are going to be, yay, let's take McDonald's. The McRibs are back. Yay, we get a toy. Same thing with the resume. You want to have it where it taps into, yay, this person has exactly what we're looking for. It's a hard-to-fill job. And this person, hits all the boxes, and they do it all. So it's going to take, so that's what they want. So the timing in, I would rather you spend more time tailoring your resume for specific job requirements than shotgunning it everywhere or spending hours and days and months, oh my God, should I use this word or that word? Do I have it in this font or that font? Does this look okay or not okay? Who cares? They don't care. And the people who would obsess over how a resume looks, the odds are you don't want to work for that person. Of course, you don't want to have grammar mistakes. You don't want to have spelling errors. I'm taking that as a given that that. You want to have it spell checked. You want to have someone else looking at it, have a few people looking at it. Not only do you want several people to look at it, you want them to feel, did they get what you do? Because I see a lot of resumes and LinkedIn profiles, and we'll talk about LinkedIn profiles in a second, where I'm like, what do you do? I don't even understand it. Now, it's not that I don't understand it because I don't understand their field. It's just they're not able to convey the message clearly. Then I'm like, that's what you do. A good resume would be, you could take someone from a completely different discipline that knows nothing about what you focus on and look and go, oh, I get what you do. They may not understand what you do, but they're like, oh, I get you do X, Y, Z, ABC, frog, giraffe, cow. Okay, I get it. So you want to have people look at it who are outside your field. So they say, oh, yeah, I get what you do and what you're about. So let's regroup. Don't obsess about it. Don't let it drive you nuts. You don't have to spend hours and hours and days and weeks and months stressing in this market. And this is why I think this series of lessons, of tutorials, of I don't know what we want to really call it, but is to give you the inside scoop of what's really happening. What's really happening is this. It's a tough job market. Not for every single person, but for the vast majority. It's tough. Everyone's still worried what's going to happen with COVID-19, how long it's going to take. Will we find a vaccine? Will we get through it? Will we not get through it? When is it going to happen? When will things go back to normal? When will the downsizing and layoffs stop? When will hiring freezes be lifting? When will they hire again? So we have to look at the real world. We can't pretend the real world doesn't exist. You can't take advice from somebody who last looked for a job 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 20 years ago. Right now, because it's a hard job market, it's tough. There's a lot of people unemployed. When I say a lot, I'm talking millions. You need to stand out. The way you stand out when a company is hiring in this environment, it's no nonsense. They know what they want, and they want someone who can come in and do the job. So think of your resume in those terms. You want to build a resume, and this is why I say have different versions of it so you could tailor it for the different companies you're responding to. You want a bespoke, which is a nice fancy word for tailored, a bespoke resume for each job you're going after. This way you increase your chances. Even if it's not the most beautiful resume, even if you're still like obsessing a little bit about it, but at least when the hiring managers, the gatekeepers, it goes through the ATS systems, they see that you do the stuff they need and want. So you have a better chance to get your foot in the door. Also, if you send your resume, and we're going to go talk about this later, if you find insiders at the company, if you find key people inside the company that you know, or you know someone knows, you give them your resume so you could say to them, hey, and this is cutting in line, I know. So again, real world, sorry. Cutting in line to say, hey, Barbara, you know the hiring manager for this job. Can you do me a favor? Give her my resume, put in a good word. So you want Barbara to look at the resume and say, oh yeah, you do have all great. And then it sends it to the hiring manager, and the hiring manager, oh, this looks great. And then the hiring manager tells HR, hey, I think we got a resume, from Jack. Let's take a look. Now, do you run the risk of them getting ticked off that it went, around what you're supposed to do? Yeah. But you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measures. Sometimes you have to take the chance. And it might be harder for HR. They may not be happy. And I know HR people have smoke coming out of their ears listening to it now. They might not be happy. But you know what? Barbara is going to put pressure on the hiring manager, and the hiring manager liked it, so they're going to put pressure on HR saying, well, whatever. We got the resume. Let's meet him. So keep that in mind. The resume has to be written so that it addresses the need of the company and specifically the needs of the job description. So it's playing the odds. So then the odds are better. They're going to look at it and say, hey, this person has the right experience, the right background, the education, the certifications, all that's needed for it. Let's at least give them a talk. And then if you have a conversation, you have that Zoom meeting, and God willing, you get in person one day, then you have a chance to sell yourself. And that's something we'll talk about later, but then you can sell yourself if you have a chance. But if you just send in a resume that doesn't address their need and want, you're going to be knocking your head against the wall. LinkedIn. It's kind of the same thing, but it's more dynamic. So you want to have what you do, and I'm not even going to go into do the title here, do this here. Let's talk about big picture. Big picture. What happens is LinkedIn, the statistics show people spend the least amount of time on LinkedIn as a social media site compared to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snap. The amount of time someone spends on LinkedIn in 1 month is equivalent to time someone spends on Facebook in 1 day. So people aren't on there as often. When they are on there, a recruiter, an internal HR person, internal talent acquisition person, a hiring manager, when they're going on there, they're going on with a mission. They're not going on there to share cat pictures and goof off. They're going there, hey, we have a job to fill. We want to find somebody for that job. So just like I talked about the resume, when they look at your profile, you want to make your profile stand out for the type of job you want. You want to be crystal clear in your messaging, who you are, what you do, what your background is, your experiences, your responsibilities, your achievements, what you want to do next. And this way, when they see it, they're like, perfect. Once again, does it have to be the best LinkedIn profile in the world? No. But does it have to address their needs? Yes. That's the key. You want it so that it's SEO, search engine optimized, so that when a recruiter is searching for candidates for their job, whether they're an external recruiter or work at the company, they don't want to spend a lot of time looking at your LinkedIn and try to decipher, what does he do exactly? I'm not sure. I think he's good. Boom, they'll just go on to the next one. You want it where it just, pow, boom, it just strikes out. Here's what I do. This is why I'm perfect for it. Let's say they're looking for a general counsel, that's the head attorney at a hedge fund. You want on your LinkedIn profile, either deputy general counsel looking to be a general counsel, or you are a general counsel. And then you put on all the general counsel legal stuff that they would want. So when they're doing a search, they're like, all right, this person does it. They have it, neat and clean. Then they'll hit you up and say, hey, Jack, I see that you're deputy general counsel looking to become a general counsel at a hedge fund. Let's talk. So the LinkedIn, it's an advertising marketing machine. You want it to attract people so they see it. They see who you are, what you do, what you're about, what you're looking to do. What a little pet peeve I have is that on LinkedIn, they have this banner you could put on your profile that says open to work. Now, that's fine. That's great. I like that. I think that's really smart and cool. But what I don't like is this, where it lulls people into a false sense of what's going on. LinkedIn kind of positions it like, oh yeah, put it on there. Everyone's going to see you. You're going to get a job. And that's freaking BS. It doesn't work that way. If you just put on open to work, and then oftentimes people say open to work, hey, COVID, lost my job. Can you please help? And I think most people, nice people in this world, they want to help. But I'll look at their profile and I don't know what they do and what they want. So even if I wanted to help them, it's frustrating because I'm like, well, all right, I'd like to help you. I'm not really cool. How can I help you? What are you looking to do? What kind of job? Why I should help you? How I can help you? So that has to come into play. And I think people hurt themselves because they don't kind of get that, yeah, you have to be a salesperson. You have to be a marketer. You can't just say, here I am, I'm awesome, hire me. Maybe in a blazing hot job market that works. In a pandemic, it does not work at all. In a pandemic, you have to rise above everyone else. You have to see, what can I put in there to make people get my attention? And once again, same thing with resume. You don't want to BS or lie or whatever, because it's going to come up. In the background check, these things always come up. So you don't want to take that risk. But you can tailor it in a way that you're honest and that you do it and position it so at least you get that interview. Don't make stuff up, but you can kind of play with it so that it's reasonable and that, I'll give you this, the litmus test is this. If you feel comfortable talking about an interview, you can put it on there. Comfortable meaning you're not BSing, but you're just talking about it. So if you could put it, if you know you could have a good back and forth about a topic with a straight face, I'll say the straight face test. If you can have a straight face talking about what's on your LinkedIn profile, on your resume, then yeah, then you can go with it. So for both the resume and LinkedIn, you want to tailor it for the jobs you want. You want to make sure you have everything on the resume. Your bullet points, your responsibilities, your achievements, plus what you're looking to do next. Now, could that be in a cover letter? Yeah. A lot of times people don't read the cover letters, but it doesn't hurt to send it. Worst comes to worst, they just don't read it. And that you could kind of really flesh out what you're looking to do next. But you want to have it so that if a recruiter, an internal HR person, internal talent, corporate talent acquisition person, a human resource person, a hiring manager, or just someone who maybe is linked in with you, first degree, second degree connection, and just a good person wants to help, you want them to look at it and go, oh, okay, I saw there's a job open and Jack's background fits it. Let me hit him up and let him know about it. So you want to make it so simple. You don't want to have any guesswork. You want to have somebody, same thing I mentioned with a resume, to look at it, even if they're not in your field, could say, oh, I get what you do. Okay, cool. I'll keep my eyes open for you. Make it really clear, really address the need. And this is going to theme throughout these sessions, is that in this market, every market is different. And I don't want to make it like we're kowtowing to the hiring managers and the companies, but sometimes you don't have a choice. They're holding the cards for the most part in this market. So you got to play the game. And the game is, they know what they want. They know they have their criteria. Frankly, just between us, I think they're ridiculous in what they want. I can't tell you how many job descriptions I look at that I just shake my head and like, this can't be real. But it is, and you got to work with it. But the way you could combat it with your resume and your LinkedIn profile is to think of it as a sales tool, as a marketing tool, as an advertising tool, where you're putting, and the product is you, and you're selling your product, but selling it specifically for the jobs you want that address the needs. So you get So the goal is to use that to get the foot in the door. And then when you get in the door, it's how you sell yourself. And we'll talk about that later, how you can really market yourself, sell yourself in the interview process so they love you and want to hire you. See, this was easy, right? How many times in the past have you talking to people about your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and you're like, what do I do? Not so bad. Think of it, you're advertising. And it sounds crass, doesn't it? It sounds like, you're a piece of meat. You're a product. Well, unfortunately, kinda. I hate to say it, but kinda. And you got to sell that product, but that product is you. And you know yourself better than anyone. And you're motivated better than anybody. You're motivated better than anybody. So you're going to make sure the resume, the LinkedIn profile is awesome. And by say awesome, not just the looks and feels and how cute it looks and the color paper or whatever, but awesome that it addresses exactly what the companies want, what their criteria is. So there's no excuse for the company not to say, oh my God, this person is perfect. Let's bring him in, or let's bring her in, because you addressed it. That's the key. That's the goal. That's what you're shooting for. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.